Hey, party people. I wanted to come on real quick just to throw out a couple-minute video on reading books and what it is you're doing when you read books. And I'm just going to give you, from my point of view, how I keep track of books and how I keep track of things. A majority of my books are on Audible, and I'm just scribbling notes whenever I can. But when I get a physical book, I do things differently than most people do. From time to time during the month, I open up my office. I have an extra desk and a setup over here to the side. I open it up to people that are in my network, people that are looking for a spot to work because they need something to do and they'd rather be in an environment with somebody who's plugging along and doing things. So they get to hear what I'm going through, or they get to participate in meetings they normally wouldn't. Yesterday, Josiah came over, spent the day with me, and he was sitting down reading a book at the other desk. Now he's reading the book, and as I'm watching this, and I see this with a lot of people, he is just going crazy highlighting. He is highlighting to the point that like the whole pages were becoming highlighted. And then as I looked at it, I said, hey, you want my 2 cents? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm sitting here. And I said, perfect. I said, let me go. So I reach over and I grab a book. And I grab a book and I'm like, hey, here's a book. And if you notice, I got this little card in here. And he's like, yeah. And I said, the reason why is because I like to make it a point to read books more than once. And he's like, he just looks, he goes, okay. And I said to him, I said, listen, I have read Think and Grow Rich 5-6 times now. I go, and every time, right, I'm going to take the card out right now, but I'm going to tell you. So all my books look like this. Did you notice there's no highlights? There's no dog ears. There's no anything that's in it. And again, this is a personal preference. For me, what I do is in every book, I'm going to drop in this aha moment. And then I write down these things that make me go, oh, I got to remember that. And so I put it all together. So you can tell this book gave me a lot of stuff the first time I read it. So then what happens is if I were to take this out and I need to refresh myself really quick on what the book was about, I grab this and I sit down and I go, and now I read a book in a few minutes. That was important to me. Now, again, you go, Joe, that's the Cliff Notes. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But it's Cliff Notes written by me. But the trick is this. It was written by me at the stage of development at which I read the book. So what do? I go back, I'll take this out, and I'll reread the book. So as I evolve as a person, as I grow as a person, as my understanding of business, life, relationships, everything grows. When it grows, then I can go back and read the book, and it's a completely different book for me. But I'm not triggered by the highlights of the old me reading it. Because if I look at the highlights, then what happens is my brain gets triggered by that, not the same triggered that the memes are, but it gets triggered back to when I read it the first time and highlighted it. And it takes me backwards instead of forwards. And so you can understand things that are written in a book, in a movie, in everything else. Go back and watch Shrek now that you're not young and see how much adult humor was in the movie. Okay, as you get older, you go like, whoa, that was bad. But as a child, you didn't know it was. So as you go back through and read the book, right, you read another book. So I got other books like that are sitting here. So I got this book here from Frank. I got Mark Victor Hansen and Crystal's, their book here. But I haven't started their book yet. So it's a blank note. So as I go through, I can use this book based on my development and where I am, and it's multiple times I can get the value out of a book instead of saying, check it off, I read it, I highlight it, let me just go read the highlights. So makes it a little bit more active, keeps me involved in reading with the book. If it's going to be audible, then I'm just writing down, I mean, it looks like this, notes as I'm listening to it during the day. But hope that helps. My 2 cents. Take it, leave it, or not. I appreciate y'all for watching. Take care.